Woke education could be on the chopping block. The Supreme Court is ready to rule on 2 cases challenging affirmative action. A group accusing Harvard and the University of North Carolina of discriminating against Asian American applicants by valuing Black and Hispanic students more. The schools argue their framework is necessary to create a diverse student body. Biden's U.S. Solicitor General went a step further, saying affirmative action is, quote, critical national security imperative. If woke universities care about fairness, it is interesting that almost half of white students are admitted into Harvard and are recruited athletes, legacy students, or a kid of donors or staff. So, Greg, I think it's going to be interesting to watch the left lose their minds when Clarence Thomas votes to get rid of affirmative action.
That's pretty funny. They said critical national
security imperative.
Security. So the reason why they say that is so when it goes away, it will be a threat to democracy.
Yes, it will.
This is now another thing. Look, when white students are disavowing white on their applications, like a third of them choose non-white when they tick the box, that tells you that it's better to be non-white. I think equality has been reached, at least in the academic setting. I think at some point, affirmative action was necessary. But like training wheels on a bike, sometimes it's got to go. But white privilege is a myth. If nobody white wants, if there's no white people who want to be white on their application, and the research about preferences, it's for parents and relatives who donate to Harvard. You know, the other sad part, too, is that there's always an implicit judgment when people meet you. Did you really get there on character, competence, or color?
Yeah. Well, Jessica, you know, obviously white students come into the debate about affirmative action, but the cases at the Supreme Court are about Asian American students and Hispanic students and Black students. So it's really not about white privilege at all.
Well, it's part of the larger debate about affirmative action, and it always will be. But colleges are trying to create a community of learners, not a community of the best test takers, right? And affirmative action goes so much further than talking about race. No one is, discussing the fact that if you're someone who grew up in a Utah or a Wyoming, that you're more likely to get accepted to a top university than people coming out of New York or California, because there are so many of them. And no one arguing on behalf of these Asian students in the Harvard or UNC case are saying that the Black kids were not qualified. They're just talking about these test scores. And if you are judged only by your test scores, you're going to end up with a lot of bots, essentially, right? And we know that taking standardized tests is something that is not good for certain kids, right? Kids who have learning disabilities, for instance, can't perform as well. I think they're an important marker, and obviously they need to stay for things like going to medical school and things like that. I understand why the LSAT continues to be as important. But when you think about your college experience, was the person you thought was most interesting the one who had the highest SAT score? I doubt it, right? It was someone who was from a diverse background. It was someone who you never thought that you would meet, right? I grew up a certain way, and the people that I gravitated towards, because you're going to a place for these 4 years to learn something new, to learn about different people, were folks who were not from New York City. And that, for me, is what affirmative action is actually about.
Let's just go after people that are just interesting.
Right. Yeah.
That should be the criteria. Good luck with that, Jessica.
Yeah, that's
all right. Come in. I'm here to judge if you're interesting or not.
That's what the attorney.
You look like you could have. You look different.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to dye their hair purple, Jessica.
It's not.
That was my Jesse impression.
Dana, one of the attorneys for the Students for Fair Admissions, who's bringing, this on behalf of their students, says that what they object to is the consideration of race and race by itself.
Yeah.
Right. And so here's a couple. I want a couple of things. First of all, Clarence Thomas said, "What does the word diversity mean?" Because it really has become this catch-all term. His point was that it can mean whatever you want it to mean, and so that has to be taken into consideration. Carrie Severino, she's a lawyer who said that the universities try to suggest that the racial aspect of their admission standards had little impact on admissions, but that they need it in order to have diversity. I think that they just walked themselves into basically the situation where John Roberts, the Chief Justice, said, yeah, I'm not buying it. The other thing is, what's a national security imperative? It's the fact that we have K through 12 education that is so bad, and learning loss from COVID with horrible test scores. The key to making sure that more people have access to good colleges and good test scores, and also all the extracurricular activities they do, is to improve K through 12 education. If you're listening to this argument and your answer is, well, we really need to keep race-based admissions going because, well, actually, you don't have a good answer for that, but you don't think you have to improve K through 12 education, you're on the wrong track.
Jesse, it's really interesting to watch the left react to minorities who don't believe in affirmative action.
I'm going to pass on this one.
What do you mean?
You're not allowed to pass.
You
Save
don't
time
ever
for the
pass on
fastest.
everything, anything.
I'm confused by the story. Who's upset? Is it whites or Asians?
Asian Americans.
Asian Americans.
Just Asians are upset.
Well, they brought the case.
They brought the
They
case,
brought-
yes.
White people are also upset, but they're not.
But they're not.
White
but
people
they're-
are
but they're
also
not in the
upset?
But they're not in the cases.
Well, they have been historically because there used to be a huge advantage, and now there's less of an advantage because Asians
And now Asian
are
Americans are
testing
being-
better than whites.
Did you read your notes?
Asian Americans are saying they're not getting accepted
Right, their
because
test
why?
score-
Because their test scores are
did you
too
listen
high.
Because their
to me?
test scores are
What
too
were you
high.
thinking about during
And
this segment?
because they are basically told you're not likable enough. You're not. It's
It
very
says-
discriminatory.
It
It's
says
wrong.
they don't interview well in the research.
Yeah, and they're not. They're not as well-rounded. It's kind of racist, is what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're basically saying that Asians are robots.
So how
Are they
you
saying they didn't
supposed
do
to-
any clubs? If the Asians didn't do clubs in
no,
high
they
school
did.
or sports?
I love that you're. This is so new to you.
All right, we're going to give Jesse some more research and visit this topic again tomorrow.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.